welcome to this week's episode of Restoration Roundup. So it's been a good week in the house. We've got quite a bit done this week, and as you can see, I've been busy this morning doing some plastering on that bedroom upstairs. So this week we've had, obviously we had the wood burner going last week, and that's been working hard to keep the place warm. And we had a delivery of logs on the Monday, so it's my little rant, I'll get this out of the way. So we had a delivery of logs on the Monday, and they were just rubbish. They were ash, which is a great wood for burning, and doesn't need quite as long to season it, but this stuff was only literally a day or two old. So absolute rubbish. It stacks up and it'll be fine for next year, but that was no good. So we ordered another lot, and this local chap came down within 40 minutes, dropped off a big trailer full of like really nice hardwood, really dry, and they've been working perfectly. So they're stacked up outside, and that meant that I really needed to get some sort of shelter or log store created pretty quickly. Otherwise these nice dry logs were just going to get spoiled. So I was basically using scraps all week. Has been, we haven't bought any materials this week, which has been good, but it does limit what you can do. So I had some tongue and groove boards from when I built the office at the last house, when I converted the garage. And if you haven't seen that video, there's a quick video and I'll put that above. But I had some tongue and groove boards treated, so they were fine to use. I only had 2 metre lengths, so I made a 2 metre long wall, not a lean-to, it's kind of a wall hung canopy, and used some 3x2 offcuts from something else, which I could create almost like a wall hung truss, and I've got those fixed onto the wall. So they're south facing, hopefully going to dry out even more now, and that was quite a nice little project. It only took a couple of hours, so I've made a little video for that, and that'll be coming up in the next couple of days. And whilst I was at it, out on the scrap wood pile, digging around, I found enough timber that I could finally sort out a gate for the side of the house, which blew down in a storm last year. So just with some feather edge boards, that's the only thing I had to nip out and grab. So feather edge boards just on some 2x3 again, and made a quick gate, and it's only literally just to get us through the next few months until we sort out that side of the house. So there's a quick shot of that now. Right, what else happened? Sash window. So we finally got the window from the local supplier. Went down and picked it up this morning. That's what we've been doing. And my dad came over and gave me a hand. They're quite heavy units, these vertical sliding kind of windows. So it went to plan. We're kind of getting pretty good at it now, so just kind of notching out the window sill where it hits the stonework. All the stonework in this house, fortunately, has been really nice and square, flat, so it's great. The actual opening that it's going into is perfect to use. So it's in siliconed, then we've put a couple of fixings in there as well, and then it's foamed all the way around to keep it nice and warm, and kind of cut out any thermal bridging and things like that. So finally got that in. It's a bit quieter in that room now. So tomorrow's job is to try and get the plastering finished. Veg garden's getting its first dose of rain for a couple of weeks. It's been really cold outside, as some of you will know. But it's finally that time of year when we can finally start looking forward to summer and getting a few things in the ground and things like that. So broad beans, always one of the first things of the year. We didn't do broad beans last year, but I'm pretty impatient, an impatient gardener, so I really like, whatever is the first thing to go in the ground, we'll get it and give it a go. So these you can get away with in February. You can direct sow them into the ground. So what I'm probably going to do is 2 rows in the ground, sown direct, and then the rest in pots, and we'll just see kind of how much of a head start the pots get. We'll start them off indoors, then we'll put them in the cold frame and then out, and that might give us a slightly longer season of harvesting, but also it'd be good to kind of test and compare for next year. So we've got white onions out there doing alright. Red onions just seem to be getting trampled by the chickens. It's a bit of a pain, but shallots we're going to do this year. Again, you can get them in February, so that's all good. Potatoes, we've bought some seed potatoes. I bought a pack of Rocket, which are just, you know, you get them in the ground, they'll fire pretty quickly, and get some out by kind of May, late May, June. So that's kind of first earlies sorted. We're chitting those at the moment, so they're in a tray upstairs by window. I'm going to grow all the potatoes this year in buckets, like 30-litre pots. Everyone seems to be doing it on YouTube and all the allotments and stuff, and it's working great, so we're going to give that a go, a lot easier. So we'll get those ordered this week and get the seed potatoes ordered. We're going to use Sarponera, I think they're called, for the main crop. Great potato, and it looks like they're really big, kind of yielding plants, and also blight resistant, so that's good. And then we'll use a couple of different earlies as well, just so we've got some nice salad potatoes over the summer. Another thing I need to get sorted pretty quickly is the air vent which comes into the back of the stove. Currently just terminates flush. I haven't put a cowl or anything on the outside. We're getting a lot of road noise coming through that pipe into the stove, and kind of reverberating in the stove. So only when it's quiet, but you can notice it, and the wind kind of catching the end of that pipe. So I need to put a some sort of vent cover or cowl on the end. I'm going to try this one first, and that will kind of fix onto the wall. I've taken out the flappy, because most things are for expelling air, like an extractor fan, whereas we're bringing it in. So I've had to take out the vent that was in there to make sure that it's completely unrestricted. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to line this with foam, and also the first few inches of pipe, and hopefully that'll cut out quite a bit of the noise that's travelling from the road and from the wind, and keep things nice and quiet. So we had quite a few questions this week coming in on the channel, various different videos, so I thought it'd give me a good opportunity to answer those now, if I can. A few questions about the air vent itself to the fire. If I can explain the physics of the stove, hopefully that might help explain it. So you've got your stove, and obviously that needs an air intake, a vent for the air to come in for the combustion of the logs. Most stoves will use air in the room, so they'll pull that air in through the vents, and that will go up the flue. What we've chosen to use is an external air vent, which pulls cold air in from outside, and that's completely sealed from the room, so we're not bringing in air and making the room cold or anything like that. It's completely room sealed effectively, so the cold air is coming in, combusting, and going up the flue. That means the only thing coming out of the going in or out of the fire is the heat, because the whole thing's a sealed unit, or near to sealed. That means that we're not pulling warm air out of the room, and it means that the only air that's being used is from outside directly. With the fire size that we've got, we would, if we didn't have the external vent, we'd require a vent elsewhere in the room, which means that as the fire's burning and using up that air, drawing in that air, elsewhere in the room, cold air will be being pulled through the room, and that could create a draft. And airflow is good in a house, but we've got too much of it in this house, so we didn't want to create another kind of vent that was unsealed to outside. The place is drafty enough. So I hope that explains it. Next question or comment that we've had a few of is more of a nag or a complaint that we've been taking out the old windows of the house and replacing them with new and UPVC. And there's quite a few reasons for that. I don't think that we just went into it without thinking. We looked at the option of keeping the secondary glazing there and repainting what was there. So that was one option, but they were still going to be drafty. You still couldn't open them particularly easy, and they didn't look very nice having that aluminium secondary glazing. The next option was to refurbish them. We could have taken out the sashes, restored the frames, and we could have tried to fit some double glazed units into the existing sashes. Problem we had is they were softwood frames anyway, and the paint was kind of flaky in areas. There was bits of rot, so there was an extensive repair needed on most windows, as well as the expense of fitting the new double glazing. They're not as secure as well, and draft proofing and things, so I know it can be done, and there are specialist firms. The one quote we got wanted about £700, I think, per window, which is quite a few. It's a couple £100 more than what the new units cost, and it's all down to kind of the U value and the noise. And there's no way we could get the modern, I can't remember whether they are 24mm or more, double glazed argon filled units into these old sashes. We would have had to get the slimline stuff. It was a balancing act, and in the end we decided that we'd take them out. We're reusing the sashes for other projects, whether it's mirrors in the house or making cold frames and things, so nothing's been wasted, but that's why we chose to go with the new windows. So we did want to make sure that we kept the features of the original windows. So rather than having just square modern sash windows, we have decided to have the horns, the kind of sash horns on the top sash, so it looked like the old ones. We've also made sure that the fixtures and fittings are all the same. We've got the hook eyes and the lifts, and we went to the effort of kind of making the wood grain effect, so they do look more like a painted white wood rather than shiny smooth PVC. Anyway, I hope that kind of puts some of you at rest, and in an ideal world we would be getting joinery made sash windows and using old glass and things, but you've got to be sensible about a renovation, and sometimes when it comes to heat loss and noise and things like that, you need to think about what's best for you rather than clinging on to some of the old bits of the house. A few other safety sallies on various videos, one of which has come up a couple of times, which is people saying why aren't you using gloves or a face mask when we were laying the insulation in the floors. And yes, I would agree with you if it was normal mineral wool or fiberglass or anything like that, but it's pure sheep's wool and it's lovely to touch, it's nice and soft, just like holding a jumper, so no need for gloves, and it's not particularly dusty. So yes, you could wear a dust mask if you wanted to, but there's nothing chemically or harmful to you in that stuff. So that's why we didn't, and if you want to wear a mask, you can wear a mask. So we also put up a video this week on how we selected the wood burner and how we went about getting it fitted, and we did that mainly because it was a great way to save money. We saved about maybe £500 doing it the way we did it, and also it's just there's so much information out there and so many models of stoves. We thought it might be helpful to show people our opinion and how we went about things. So if you want to check that out, click on the link above and you can watch that and have a look and see if that helps you if you're in a similar situation. So some more big news this week, or a little teaser as such, is we're looking at starting a new YouTube channel. And the reason for that is because we're doing a lot more grow it your own with the veg garden and the orchard, and kind of more produce found locally and things like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at creating a new YouTube channel, which will be more about food, cooking, growing your own, becoming a bit more self-sufficient, and it should be a really great channel. We're really excited about that. However, I didn't want to kind of pack all those videos into this channel and dilute what we already have, because we've got a great following on this channel, but as you'll know, it's more aimed at DIY, the renovation, woodworking projects, and other things about restoring a property. So what we didn't want to do is pack it all in and it become a bit of a mishmash. So once that channel is up and running, I'll be sure to let you all know, so watch this space, and it's going to be an exciting summer with lots going on, lots more videos, and we're looking forward to producing some more quality content for YouTube. So as I've always said, if you've got any questions, any advice, or any kind of comments, please leave them in the comments section below, and then next week we'll be able to answer any questions that viewers might have. But I think that's it. So I hope you all have a good week. Happy DIYing, and remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.